for me, it's a privilege to be a part of their journey because.
What is one of the main circumstances that you're hit with day by day on when patients give you a call?
I'm not a dentist. I'm not a dentist at all.
Okay.
And that's part of the reason why I'm here, because there are some questions I can't answer. My background is in sales management.
It becomes not just a dental, I'm going to go get my work done. It's like, I'm going to go get the experience. I'm going to go get the Supreme experience.
It's a community.
Yeah.
It becomes a community.
It's a Supreme family.
Yeah.
Hello, welcome back to Supremedental Podcast Studio. You can be anywhere else in the world right now, but you're here with us, and we appreciate that. Don't forget to like and subscribe. My name is Frank. My wife and I are the owners of Supreme Dental Clinic. Remember, we also have a phone number. We have an email address. Contact us. Let us know what you think. Let us know what you would want us to talk about. Any questions, any concerns. Remember, this podcast was meant for you, the patient. So today we have someone very important. We have Mrs. Jessica Carranza. How you doing?
Good. How are you?
Not too bad. And she is our coordinator for What Clinic, and she is our patient coordinator also for Google. A lot of you most likely have spoken to her. And she came down all the way from
Indiana,
and she's here to meet the team, and she's here to talk a little bit about what she does. And I'm happy to have you guys here.
I'm excited to be here. I don't get to be here all the time, and I don't get to see the team on a daily basis. I like a lot of people now, I work from home, which is amazing. And if they're looking for Supreme and they happen to come across Supreme Dental on Google or the What Clinic platform, they get me. So I'm a real person.
That's very important.
Yeah, I'm a real person. And I am originally from Yuma, born and raised. But 5 years ago, my family and I left to Indiana. And I get to talk to patients and help them on their journey to get here.
Tell us a little bit how that works. So patient calls looking for dental work. How does it go? How does it work?
Well, like everything nowadays, people find us on the internet. And if they Google us or, again, find us on What Clinic, patient is usually they're the ones reaching out, asking for more information. And we pop up and they contact us either by email, usually by phone. And like everybody else, they're just starting to scratch the surface and look for information about how to get affordable dental that is not available in their home country in the U.S. So,
what is one of the main circumstances that you're hit with day by day on when patients give you a call? What is it? Concerns of security, concerns on quality of work? What exactly do you think you see the most in your line of work?
All of the above. It usually starts with the patient that has seen their local neighborhood dentist, has been given some pretty hefty pricing for anything in between, anything from implants to crowns and even general dentistry. And a lot of the times the pricing is astronomical, even with their insurance. So they start looking elsewhere. Lots of times word of mouth, some people tell them, hey, go out of the country. And that kind of just gets the ball rolling with that. With the research that they start doing, they find us. And, it starts off pretty, they want to know, is it safe? Can I go get this work done and come back, and come back okay? Yeah, we want you. Yeah, exactly. They don't believe it when I give them pricing on the same exact kind of work. And a lot of them are their stories. I mean, I get everything, from I have a genetic problem and my teeth are going bad, and my only option here in the U.S. is dentures, and I'm 35 years old. How sad, you know? I get mothers that have their pregnancies have wreaked havoc on their mouths, and the doctors tell them the same thing, and they don't think that there's another option for them, and this is like their last ditch effort to actually get their smile back. So it's kind of cool because I get to talk to them before they even come here, and I know their stories, and it's pretty fulfilling. I like it. I like what I do.
Tell me more about Jessica. Are you a single mom? How many kids do you have?
No, I'm married to my wonderful husband Ernesto, and I have we have 5 children, 5 kids, all between the ages of 13 and 2 years old. So I'm a mom. Like I said, I'm a real person.
You're not a robot.
I'm not a robot. I'm in the U.S., so I'm not somewhere else, camping out somewhere else or around the world and stuff. So when I talk to our patients, I understand their lifestyle and stuff because I'm doing the same thing. I live in the Midwest. We've got kids that go to school and do activities, and sometimes when I'm talking to them, I'm probably carpooling around my way somewhere.
So you really connect because you guys have a lot in common. Most of the patients you get are from the U.S.
Oh, yeah. U.S., some in Canada, but mainly the U.S., and it's not just one part of the U.S. I've talked to people in every single state for the most part.
What do patients say when they actually know that you are in the U.S.? Because just like every company, we normally talk to people all over the world, but except the U.S.
Oh, it's almost like a relief. They're like, oh my gosh, really? You're in the U.S.? No way. I talked to somebody last week that's an hour away from me. They're
That's
like,
awesome.
No way. And, we connect and everything, but, and it's neat. I get to have all kinds of conversations with all these people. And then once they start to realize it's a relief for them to know that there is a solution that is not out of reach. They're not parking an SUV in their mouth, so it's really cool.
Welcome to Dental Facts. Did you know giraffes only have bottom teeth? 32 to be precise. You heard it first at Supremedental podcast. Floss, brush, and keep smiling.
We get a lot of patients, and we see that patients that deal with Jessica, they are very well informed. They are very excited. How did you go about going into dental? Were you a hygienist before, or how do you know so much about dental?
I'm not a dentist. I'm not a dentist at all.
Okay.
And that's part of the reason why I'm here, because there are some questions I can't answer. My background is in sales management. I've worked in retail. I've been in management, mainly sales. So, and customer service. So that's where my strong point is. But it's important for me to be super transparent with patients, and to give them the right information and not mislead them, because I appreciate that. I mean, I'm talking to somebody from Connecticut and they make it all the way over here, and how awful if they come here and they don't know all the right information.
Yeah, with the wrong information.
Yeah, and that's not what we're about. It's about doing the right things for everyone across the board. There's no long term. There's short term gain is not worth it.
How did you start with Supreme Dental?
Your wife called and asked if I would like to do this crazy thing that I didn't even, she was like, talk to people and manage this platform, and we'll see how it goes. And I said, sure, we'll try it out. That was 4 years ago.
At the time, I don't know what you were doing. I knew you were doing something to do with teaching, right?
We had just moved to Indiana, and I was working for the ESL program there, and translating for immigrant students.
And you were very passionate about a product that you were talking about. I think it was, what was it?
Essential oils.
Essential oils, and you were so passionate that my wife was like, wow, if she's really passionate about essential oils, if she happens to learn dental, she'll be very passionate. And my wife is not the one that sells. She's very direct, and she's not like, oh, let's give it a try. If she doesn't, she's really good at drafting. If she was in NFL, she would be like, we need her in the Broncos.
Yeah, she's a good recruiter.
Yeah, she's very good drafting. She sees things that I don't see, and she said, let's go ahead and go with Jessica. And I said, you sure? And she said, yeah. And we went on from there. And obviously you knew the basics, but then you took on from there. And now this is the second time you come to the clinic itself.
Yeah.
And that is very important because you get to talk to every single dentist that you guys see here at the podcast. You get to talk to them. You get to ask them questions there. You get to ask them explanation. Actually, before we came to the podcast, we were having breakfast outside here at the plaza.
Yeah.
And we sat with Dr. Elias, and he was just telling us about the palatal approach. He was telling us about the pterygoid implants. He was telling us about the nasal floor lifts. Yesterday, you guys got with Dr. Dulce, Dr. Alonso. Today, you guys will get with Dr. Joel. You guys yesterday did Dr. Luis also.
Yeah.
And not a lot of places get to do that.
No.
And not a lot of agencies get to speak to the dentist direct. We do have another agency and somebody else who's been here before.
Yeah.
But it's the connection that you do with the patient, the connection that you do with the dentist. It's just better together.
Yeah.
Because now you're getting the perspective of the dentist, and you know how the dentist is. You could pick up right away on the doctor's attitude, like, oh yeah, you know more about this, and you could hear the passion in their voice.
Oh yeah.
So when you are talking to someone back at home, they're just like, well, I don't know, and you're like, well, there's the doctor that helped you out. You know more about him. He's not like a robot, like you said.
Yeah.
So you have that upper hand on a lot of people, and also you only work for Supreme Dental.
I only work for Supreme Dental. I'm not a broker or anything like that. I'm not trying to just stick them in wherever they'll go. The other thing too is like I do a lot of hand holding. So I mean, patients, by the time they make it into your chairs, I've been talking to them anywhere from a week to 3 months, 6 months, maybe even a year.
Yeah.
And so, and that's just part of what I do. And like you said, like when I believe in something and I'm passionate about something, I think that works for a lot of people. If you're excited about something, you're like, oh gosh, no, you have to go. There's over 100 different clinics here, and like the number one thing is like, well, why should I pick Supreme Dental? And I'm like, you got a couple hours because we can talk about it.
You're very passionate about what you do, and when your job becomes a hobby also, then I think that really is when the magic really starts. There's a thing that happened yesterday. There's a patient that you met that you've been talking to. What's his name?
Oh, Tony.
Yeah. And we'll put a clip on when Jessica actually got to meet one of her patients here at the clinic, which will be also in an upcoming video, but we'll put a clip on. And he was very excited to see you. Yeah. He wasn't like, oh, you sent me over here telling me this and that. Like, he was very excited to see you.
He was excited, and he also got, I knew what he was coming in for, and it was, he ended up needing a little bit more work than what he thought he needed. But he was happy because he was given a thorough explanation. He knew exactly why he needed what he needed, and he had no doubt in his mind that it was the right thing for him. He's like, I'm here, I might as well get it done, And so that's another reason why it's so easy to be confident in where I'm sending our patients to, because I know that they're going to be in good hands. They're going to have the right treatment. They're going to have the right treatment plan that's made just for them. This is not a factory or they're not just turn and burn where it's like, oh, we're just, everybody gets the same teeth and everybody gets the same stuff. I mean, it's really cool to see from going from like the digital impressions and getting to
you got
watch.
To see those
I got
yesterday.
to see that yesterday, where he's going through with the light
He's
and
like,
the
"Dee-dee-dee-dee-dee-dee,"
and
the
then the
little song.
laptop, the little song, and it's he's looking. It was Dr. Luis, and he was looking at the laptop, and I mean, and I asked you, I said, so no more putty? You're like, no, we don't do putty for impressions. It's all digital. So I mean, the accuracy. You're coming all the way from New England, and you come here, and they're like, oh, we lost a bunch of time because the mold's no good.
Yeah.
No, it's digital. It's accurate. You've got little room for error. You're not wasting time. We know you've got a plane to catch, so it's a no-brainer.
So, and that's awesome because we show it in a lot of our videos.
Yeah.
But it's different than seeing it in person. Because
Yeah.
you're like, what is he doing? He's scanning them. And then you've seen, and I think you took a small video on your phone.
I did.
On how it was actually showing, and it was showing like every crease, every dent on the tooth itself.
Yeah, the detail. Yeah, I mean, I have no doubt that that's going to come out impeccable. It's amazing. Yeah.
Yeah. That's what it's for. One of the things that that I get very excited about is when patients they come in and they're super excited when they spoke to you. Like they come in and they're already fans. They're just like, oh, we spoke to Jessica. We've seen your podcast. We've seen your videos. She's been a sweetheart. She's walked us through, but you've had so many patients throughout the years. And you were here when you started when we had pretty much a different team.
Oh, yeah.
And now it's developed to this a team that we have now,
the growth,
that there's no comparison, even though Supreme has been strong. But now, and patients see this when they come in. It was pretty crazy because me and Ernesto, your husband, while yesterday you were doing a documentary here at the podcast.
Yeah.
We went in and there was a patient that patient Adan.
Oh.
And the patient that, I don't know if you guys ever seen the one that goes, he says bye like this.
Oh, yeah.
And he was just like super happy to see us because he's back for his final work.
Yes.
And everybody was all excited in the waiting room. The waiting room was pretty packed and they were excited and they were just like, oh yeah, man, we seen you in the podcast. And oh yeah, we're really excited to be here. And there was a patient that Dr. Elias was starting on the second phase, and he's like, hey, I want to be in the podcast also. And it becomes not just a dental, I'm going to go get my work done. It's like, I'm going to go get the experience. I'm going to go get the Supreme experience.
It's a community.
Yeah.
It becomes a community.
It's a Supreme family.
Yeah. Yeah. Because I mean, I recognized him. We walked in. I told my husband, I was like, hey, what's that guy?
Well, George,
super fan.
George was coming into the podcast, and George is like, hey, Adam, what's up, man? And he goes a little thing like that, and he tells us, hey, man, you made me a star or something like that. So he's super excited.
The energy's different. I mean, I've walked around. I lived here 35 years.
Yeah.
I mean, I've been to Algodones countless times to get tacos, get food, get candy for my kids' piñata. So, I mean, I know. And the energy inside either one of the Supreme Dental clinics is like no other. It's not the same.
What we really work on is we don't want to be that clinic. And there's a lot of clinics that you go and it's your first phase and like, hey, how you doing? And they try to just sell you. And then once they sell you, you sit down and you wait and that's it. And here we try to make sure that how many patients have said they were holding my hand when they was getting the work done, or oh my God, I wanted to take a picture with them afterwards, or oh my God, they were so excited. And that's what we do. We're trying to do. It's a full experience. It's obviously it is something medical, but it's a full experience. Let's have fun when we're getting it done. Let's create those memories. Let's make that. Let's be from a 1 to a 10. From a 10, let's go to a 20. I don't want to be as good as a clinic in the United States. We want to be better. We want to be, when you come in, we want to remember your name.
Right.
And we want you to remember ours probably.
Yeah.
But tell me about, I know you deal with a lot of patients. Tell me about a patient in particular that has really touched you. I always like to ask that question. That has really touched you and you're just like, wow.
I have, and I remember most of my patients because they'll call and they'll say, hey, it's so-and-so. I'm like, hey, I remember you. And they're surprised. They're like, you know me? I'm like, of course I know you. We talked like for hours. But one that has really Catherine, I was actually out of town away, and I knew she was coming in for her treatment. And she was one that I just talked to, but I didn't know her whole story. And then you guys recorded you sent me the video. You hadn't even released it yet. You were like, don't share this yet. It's not even released yet. And we were in Asheville, North Carolina, hanging out for Ernesto's birthday. Yeah. And I watched the video, and I'm sitting there in the kitchen. I'm crying, and I'm like, oh my gosh, like she's so young, and all the things that she talked about, and she's due for her second phase soon. So we'll see. Well, I'm excited to see that.
We'll put a clip on, and it's Catherine is the one that said, "You changed my life. Yeah. You probably saved my life."
You probably saved my life. You never know.
Dr. Alonso's favorite patient, also a patient that really, he remembers a lot because he was really emotional and going through a lot. And that's the thing, you just never know what people are going through. Everybody's a different world.
Yeah, and what they're going through and who you're talking to. It's not hard to just be helpful and kind. That's so not hard.
It's very important to listen. I always tell everybody, all my dentists, I tell them, you have 2 ears and 1 mouth. Yeah. Listen twice as much as what you speak. I've heard of patients that say, oh yeah, I'm going through chemotherapy and I'm looking to get all-on-4, and somebody just says, oh yeah, well, let me send you to this clinic, and you're like, what are you talking about? She is going through chemo. She can't get an all-on-4.
Yeah.
And you have to listen, and it's not just about money. It's about people. It's about a life, someone who's saved up, someone who's been through some hard times. Yeah. And that is the difference. We tell you, no matter where you go, no matter what clinic you guys go to, make sure that you guys do your research. Make sure that you guys are the correct fit. Mm-hmm. That because if something doesn't feel right, there is more options out there. And I know a lot of times you guys say it's Mexico. It's not gonna be as good. We're gonna pay less, but it is what it is. It's not like that. Come down to Supreme, and we will show you that there is nothing like this experience anywhere else. I've been to a lot of places, and I promise you, there's places that I go and I'm just like, wow, I really like that. I want to adapt that. Yeah. And I really like that. We're gonna add that and
inspiration. Yeah.
It's we're not just like, oh my God, I don't like that and knock it down. Like I'm like, oh, I really do like that, but how am I gonna make that ours? How am I going to remix it? How am I going to incorporate it to what we already have?
Well, that's the thing. That's like the clinic has just reinvented itself. And, you guys have just, like I said, 2 years ago, you were just finishing building, you and your wife were just finishing up Cosmetic Center. And I mean, I couldn't wait. It was a few months away from being open. So now I get to see it fully open and operating and stuff. And, that's amazing. That's just amazing to see, and to be able to just offer what we offer. It's crazy. And going back to doing what's right, I've had, and I don't do this for free. I get paid, but
she gets paid.
I do get paid to do this job, and it's amazing. But I've had patients that I'm sending them in for this ginormous quote, and I'm like, oh yeah, they need all their teeth out. I mean, I'm going off of what they're saying. The doctors have the last word. I'm not a dentist, so I don't diagnose things or anything like that. But I've seen a few things and everything, and and they call me back and they said they were able to save my teeth. Yeah. And I go, oh, well, that's gonna be not as much as I thought it was gonna be, but that's amazing. You still. That's so obviously they're doing the right thing. Correct. They're doing the right thing. They're not coming in. They're not seeing dollar signs when they see the patients walking in.
We're not order takers neither. We don't go based off of what your dentist said in New York. We're gonna do X-rays. We're gonna do digital scannings. We're gonna show you why that's not the right option. And if you still want to do it, and we don't feel it's the best thing for you because we're gonna hurt you more than help you, then you're more than welcome to go to the other 116 clinics here in Algodones.
Well, and I see American quotes I see them every day. American quotes are insane, and they continue to, that's neither here nor there. But the point is that I'm seeing them because patients don't want to pay those quotes.
Right.
And at the end of the day, and it takes some time. Like I don't have the tooth numbers memorized or anything, so I do have like a little chart.
Yeah.
And I start checking them off, and I'm looking, and I go, "Did you know that they're only going to work on like 26% of your mouth?
Yeah.
What is their plan for the rest of it?" And they're like, "Oh, I have to save up and do the rest of it in a year." And I'm like, "No, this is crazy. You're going to spend $30,000 for, 6 or 7 teeth? No, like that's crazy."
It was very nice having you here. I know it's a long flight back home.
Yes.
But real quick, talk to the patients. Let them know what you want. What point you want to get across to them. Talk to them.
Well, for me, it's a privilege to be a part of their journey because when I first started this, I didn't realize how much I would be a big part of changing people's lives, and it's amazing. So I'm thankful for that opportunity, and I'm just excited to be able to talk to you all. And there's some of you that haven't called us yet, and just know that it's not scary to take that first step to give us a call and to just get the process started. You won't regret it.
Alrighty, well, thank you so much for listening here at Supreme Dental Podcast Studio. Have a good one. Don't forget to subscribe and like our page. Don't forget to give us a call, send us an email, and thank you for watching Supreme Dental Podcast here at Supreme Dental, where smiling starts here. Thank you.